Dr. Pieczenik, thank you. What do you really think's going on here?
Well, Alex, it's a pleasure to be on the audience on your show again. Honestly, I think Scalia's death has more relevance to what you and your great audience and Trump has been doing to than the actual death of Scalia. And let me explain it. We have had, since you and I have had a 14 or 15-year relationship, we have been attacked, not only you, but I, repeatedly as truthers, conspiracy. That is the way the establishment, and as you call it, the decaying media, has been putting us in the corner. What we're dealing with is far greater than Scalia. You hit it right on the head now. Whether he was killed or was not killed is irrelevant to the following issue. We, the American people, no longer trust Obama, no longer trust the Bushes, no longer trust the Clintons. That's a statement of fact. The statement of revolution has been that we have not allowed ourselves to be cowed by individuals or by groups. In your case, you've remained on the air, and I've been very proud of you, and I've been very proud of the audience. In my case, they try to shut me up with subpoenas and other operations that I understood and were able to avert. The real issue at hand, Scalia may be the flashpoint, but we are now entering the heat of battle. And the battle basically is a revolutionary battle where Trump correctly is saying the things that you have said, the audience has said, and we have talked about. Every time Trump talks about 9/11, it's a coded message to warn the Bushes that you are on trial. It's not simply that I happen to know, as Trump says, the people who own the building, but I happen to know who did it as well. Trump is exceedingly bright. He's exceedingly incisive. I could not have predicted 5 years ago, even a year ago, that Trump would have come to the forefront. But thanks to Roger Stone, to Corey Lewandowski, and others from the Tea Party and other parties, they've come forward and picked the right man who was not beholden to anybody. So what are we really talking about when Scalia is dead? The attention focuses to the Clintons, correctly. Why? Because Hillary Clinton has a history of lying, distortion, killing, and assassination, as does Bill. Despite the fact that both of them are cowardly, both of them are inept, and I happen to know for a fact, and they have a lovely daughter. The truth of the matter is, Michael Flynn, the former Director General, the former Lieutenant General of the
Defense Intelligence
Agency, stated very clearly to Hillary Clinton on Fox Network and everywhere else, and I wrote a blog, Michael Flynn, who's the extremely highly regarded intelligence operative under McChrystal, said repeatedly, Hillary Clinton should stop the campaign. She has violated the security.
And he said we were ordered to create ISIS and give them power to take over Syria. He said that on Al Jazeera and on Fox, which to me signaled a rebellion within the military, a soft Valkyrie. And so this is all about pushing a referendum of, we don't trust you, you're illegitimate, we don't buy anything you're selling. Even if you say that that the moon is made out of rock, we don't believe it because you said it.
Correct, Alex. So let me put it in another way. We've said it for a long time, and sometimes you had to quiet me down. But for years, I've said we've had a military that went to war and combat, rightfully or wrongfully, who's come back and said enough is enough, and we will perform what is called a soft coup. We saw it with Dempsey a couple of months ago when I spoke on your show, and when Dempsey basically said, I can't trust my own generals, I don't trust the White House, which he's correct. Because
hold on, you and Colonel Schaefer and others said 2+ years ago that he had gone to the White House and said, the military's not backing you openly bombing Syria. No, we're going to help the Russians. That was a soft coup right there. That came out, as you know, with Cy Hirsch and is now confirmed. That is sensationally good news.
Exactly. Now, on top of that, for me to tell you that Michael Flynn, the Defense Intelligence Agency, I can't tell you, in my world, more important than Scalia is Michael Flynn. Why? Because he and James Clapper, and I can't invoke Clapper, but Clapper's a good man, who's Director of National Intelligence, both of them really oversee 15 of our intelligence units in the military, not only civilian, but in the military. And he has warned her, and he has basically informed the American public to resist in the best way possible, which is to deny the election to the Bushes, deny the election to the Clintons, and deny them to anyone else, except for the man who can speak the loudest and can say what he has to say. Whether Trump knows the details of force structures or conventional systems, or he knows the intelligence, it's not as relevant to me.
And here's the big news I want to give people. You knew what was going on.
Correct.
The day after I had Stone on, you basically on air repeated the conversation I had with him in there, and you hadn't even talked to him. You just know who he is. And they basically telegraphed to me that, hey, Trump's on board. He knows what's going on. We're going to set him up on your show if they go after him for 9/11 Truth. But they were smart enough to not do it. So it shows that there are large cadres in the government that have actually recruited Trump, and that Trump had to spend weeks thinking about it a year ago plus, and literally thinking about how he might have to face his death. So whatever you want to say about Trump, he is making a run at him, and they are really concerned.
Let me, this is, and without being an exaggeration, this is the equivalent of a new American Revolution. You and I have waited for 14 years since 9/11. What Trump did on the past weekend and attacked George Bush Jr. was right on the mark.
Scared the hell out of them.
Very clearly.
They're scared.
They're scared. And what you're seeing now is the desperation of what happened in the French Revolution. The kings and queens, their heads are going to be cut off. And Hillary, her head is going to be cut off. In the case of Bush Jr., his head is going to be cut off. That's metaphorically speaking. As long as the American public thrusts forward and keeps up that momentum, basically what they're saying is that the Republican establishment is finished, which it is, because I can't believe McCain and a whole bunch of those old farts really represent anything other than their own vested interest. And when you see, what's her name, the Graham Lindsay, Miss Lindsay talking, even though he's been in combat, he's been in the military, I give him credit, he's not relevant. And what Trump is doing...
Stay there. We got to go to break, Dr. Pieczenik. But I want to come back and ask, how will the globalists strike back? Because you know, is it a false flag, a war? How are they going to strike back? I'm kind of asking you as a really smart mentor from the inside what you think. I could feel in my gut the danger and the creepiness that when they see InfoWars now as a reporter, they get an adrenaline rush. They stand up like a cat getting electrocuted, and their people all freak out with fear when they hear my name or see our flag on a microphone. So I know these are dangerous killers. These are mafia dons. And it doesn't scare me, but it's bracing and nauseating to see them react in fear of my name or my symbols. What do you say to that, sir?
Well, I think it's a tribute to you and your millions of people in the audience around the world to know that we all believe in an alternative narrative, which is not given by the standard media or the presidency. Basically, what you're involved in now, and I say it in terms of the intelligence operative that I was or am, you're involved in agitation propaganda. What we're doing now on your part and what you have done effectively is to basically agitate the entire structure of not one administration, but 3 administrations spanning over 30 years. At the same time, because of your vocal opinion, and I'm not talking, to flaunt you or laud you, but you have done a remarkable job of taking the information that we now know on the internet and the people who come along with us, the military men who fought in Iraq and Afghanistan, who understood that the biggest lie that was given to them was by a coward who avoided the draft named George W. Bush Jr., and another coward who avoided the draft 11 times named Cheney, all of whom can pronounce big words and send everyone to war except themselves or their brothers, neither Neil, Marvin, Jeb, or George, all cowards. Not maybe cowards, but cowards, outright cowards and disgusting individuals.
And it's one thing if they dodge the draft, but then to be warmongers on top of it later.
That's the way to cover up the fact that they're cowards. So those who send us to war and never been to war, we will have to deny. And this is where the Iraqi and Afghanistan veterans, the brave warriors who went forth, the men and women, to stand up and say, we've had enough. You want to go to war, Mr. Cruz? You go to Canada and join up and go with the military. You want to go to war, Mr. Rubio? You've never been to war, but you've certainly been, your brother-in-law has certainly been in the cocaine wars in Miami. So what's happening is a lot of the issues of truth are coming forth. Will they assassinate you? No, I can guarantee you that. And the reason's very simple. Whoever they is, number one, not interested in assassinating you or anybody else. And number two, there is an inability within the structure to have assassinations committed without outsourcing. Let me be very clear. The people who usually did the dirty work in the JFK assassination came out of Texas. I don't want to go into their names, but many of the presidents were involved. Senior Bush, Nixon, and others were involved in the assassination of Kennedy. He should never have been president. He had Addison's disease.
Stay there. This is amazing info. Stay right there. I mean, we know it was exactly who you mentioned, and LBJ, and we have the deathbed confession of E. Howard Hunt, which we premiered here. For all of recorded history, civilizations around the world praised the health benefits of silver. At InfoWars Life, our mission is to bring you the highest quality, purest, cleanest, effective colloidal silver on the market today for the lowest price available. You don't have to be a doctor to know. The fall and winter months are the most dangerous time of year in North America when it comes to you and your family's health. InfoWarsLife.com is very excited to announce our biggest run yet of Silver Bullet colloidal silver, exclusively available at InfoWarsLife.com. Now, InfoWarsLife.com has taken colloidal silver to the next level using a cutting-edge technique that is free of toxic artificial additives. Now more than ever, it's important to stock up on high-quality Silver Bullet from InfoWarsLife.com and to help others during Christmas by teaching them about the powerful benefits of silver. Secure your Silver Bullet today at InfoWarsLife.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139.